Hello, my math independent study student. The objective for this video is factoring trinomial with leading coefficient of 1. So where is the leading coefficient? Now the leading coefficient is the number in front of the term with the highest exponent. So in this case you don't see nothing, so this will be 1. And again, the number in front of the term with the highest degree, so therefore you see nothing, it will be 1. So let's begin now. So we know factor using a 2 by 2 box. So the first thing you have to do for us, we will draw a box or a square and divide your square into 4. So the next step, I'm going to go ahead and put the first terms on the top left corner. So it will be x squared or 1x squared. And the last term in the bottom right corner of my 2 by 2 box will be negative 7. Next, you are going to multiply. So multiply your top left corners and your bottom right corner. So that will give you negative 7x squared. Then you want to look for the factor, and you go with that. When you add your two factors, the sum have to be equal your middle terms. So first of all, the factor of x squared is just x times x. Okay? So for the x, you have the x, and the factor of negative 7. So now we want to have the sum at negative 6, will be negative 7 times 1. So those are the two prime numbers, and if you add them up, that will give you negative 6x. So next step, you want to go ahead and bring these two factors that you just found, put them in the two leftover box right here. So I'm going to put negative 7x and then 1x. Next step now, you're going to go each row and look for the factor for each row. So let's start with the first row. So this is called a row. Okay. And this we call the column. So I'm going to go ahead and look at each row now. So let's start with the first row. So these two terms, they only have x as a common factor. So put the common factors outside. And look at the next row. So these two terms, they have nothing as a common factor. So since they have nothing as a common factors, you just put 1. Now let's look at the column. So in this column, x squared and x, they all have x as a common factors. The next column, they both have negative 7 as a common factor. So therefore, you can conclude that your factor are the product of the sum of each. So let's start with the row first. I'll have x plus 1 and then x plus negative 7. Now you can go back and then you can simplify. So that will give you x plus 1 times x minus 7. Now you also can check it. Now if you think about when you check in, the answer is just right here in the box. X times x give you x squared. X times negative 7 give you negative 7x. 1 times x is 1x. 1 times negative 7 is negative 7. Then you can combine like terms. So you only have these two terms as the like term right here. So negative 7 plus 1 is 6x. Is negative 6x. So therefore, we find the correct factor. So let's look at the next example here. So the first step, we are go ahead and draw a square. Mine doesn't look like a square, look like a rectangle. And then you divide it into 4 equal square. And then now you go ahead and put the first term on the top left corner of your 2 by 2 box, and the last term at the bottom right, and then you are going to multiply, so that will give you negative 35 m squared. Then you want to factor. So in factors, so again, m, let's start with m squared is m times m, and then negative 35. Now the goal is that these two coefficients, when they add them up, have to give us 2, and then the m, so therefore negative 35, the factor will be 7 times negative 5, because if you add them up, that will give us you 2. So therefore you put 7m and negative 5m. So now you are go ahead and start with the row first. So again, the row will go from left to right. So this is the row. So on the first row, m squared and 7m, they both have m as a common factor. And the next row, negative 5m and negative 35, they both have negative 5 as the greatest common factor. So we're done with the row. So let's move on to the column. So for the first column, m squared and negative 5m, they both have m as the greatest common factors. And then for our column number 2, 7m and negative 35, they both have 7 as the greatest common factor. So now we can write out our factor. So will be the product, inside will be the sum. So we do m plus negative 5m, and then m plus 7. And of course, if you have a plus sign and a minus sign, you can go ahead and simplify. So m minus 5 times m plus 7, and you can check it by just looking at your box right here. So this is just the product, and you can check it quick. So this will be the conclusion for this video. Make sure you write down the summary. I will see you in class. Goodbye.